Have you ever had the feeling of, is it me or am I tripping? Hi, I am Magic, and I will tell you which one in today's video called, Is it the enemy or is it the enemy? So I'm starting this off by talking about a documentary that I saw about animals, aquatic animals, and their hunting strategies. So what I found interesting was how the sea lion implements their hunting strategy. And what they do is they love tuna. But tuna can swim up to 45 miles per hour, so they just cannot catch the tuna. So what do? They go in front of them like this motion, spewing bubbles as a distraction or a fear tactic to where the tuna coming here, the sea lion coming here, blows bubbles, the tuna goes the other way. And this motion kind of keeps happening to where the sea lion is grazing the tuna somewhere. It's directing it. It can't actually harm it. It's too fast. It can't touch it. So it's using other tricks, psychological. And so it keeps doing that until the tuna reaches so close to the bank that half the time it just kind of plops out of the ocean or shallow enough where the sea lion has the advantage, can actually get the tuna. And the sea lion has competitors such as a shark. And so it pushes it closer to the bank to outweigh the shark, because if it catches it too in waters that are too far out, the shark will take it. So that's the strategy that it does. Okay. But then I was thinking, why doesn't the tuna just keep going straight? And so, with our human mind, which is bigger, I would like to think is bigger at least than the sea lion and the shark and the tuna, that we're able to see things from a higher intelligence, and so are you. So, just imagine that whenever you're going forward to something and someone spews bubbles, and for whatever reason, you go the other way and you don't accomplish your dreams, and you ask yourself, was it the enemy or the enemy? And the hard truth of this lesson is that unless somebody puts their hands on you, okay, unless someone physically keeps you down and you cannot make a decision, you cannot exercise discretion or make a choice and selection or whatever, that's fine. Because unless they're doing that, it is a distraction. It is taking you away from your focus, and it's just bubbles. Okay, so let me give you something practical. I remember just my whole life going to concerts and never really singing with the singer, the concert person, or whatever, because I was always worried about what Bob and Bill were saying. And also important to note that I was drawing on experience from whenever I was younger, when there was a choir singing on stage, and I was in the audience, and I recorded and was singing, and some people heard it and made fun of me, so I kind of stopped that. But, going to this concert, to that concert, over the years, I was not enjoying myself, and I wanted to enjoy the music that I like and sing with the singer. So a couple years ago, I just decided to stand up and sing with the singer and enjoy myself. And much to my surprise, I looked over to my left. They weren't worried about what I was doing. I looked over to the right, and they were not worried about what I was doing. It was all in my head. Okay, so unless they physically help me down or try to stop me, it's bubbles. It's a distraction that's keeping me moving forward. So in that instance, when I was thinking I'm not enjoying myself, going to these concerts and things, and I was like, dang, the devil is busy. It's the enemy. But then, the harsh truth is realizing after seeing that I realized that it is the enemy. In adopting that for you, what the message it sends to the universe is, since it's the inner me, it means I have a choice. Since it's the inner you have the ability to fix this. Since it's the inner you, it's all options. Since it's the inner you and not the enemy, you are the God of this creation, and you can fashion it however you want and make better decisions. Okay, so that that one was cute. So, but let me give you another one that's a little more serious, and it's about harassing. Kind of like bullies. So there was a previous job a couple years ago that I had where the we had multiple supervisors, had a matrix style of reporting, so multiple supervisors, and there was one that I just not get along with that well, and he would always make fun of me, harass me. He thought it was funny, but it wasn't. So my tactic was to just avoid him, and he was always in the front office. We were in the back, and there was a front office where all the magic and the fun stuff happened. And I stopped going to the front office because I did not want to have any more interactions with him. And then so there was a point where someone that was below me got a promotion above me. And when I looked into it and wanted to figure out why, I'm a hard worker, I'm always at my desk, I'm working, cause no problems. The thing was that whenever the regional manager came to visit, I wasn't in the front. He was. And so they got to see his delicious personality and he got to sell himself. And since we choose kind of from the options that we have, he was selected. And I was so upset because I put in the hours, I put in the time. But then once I sat back and I looked at it, I was able to say, to really check myself and say, it was bubbles. The sea lion just do bubbles like this, and I was so afraid I just went the other way. But truth be told, I could step into a higher consciousness, and you can step into a higher consciousness too, since you're aware of this. That uh, it, you just got to keep moving forward. So back to this story about harassing. Um, I never ever went forward. I never ever moved uh, in terms of progression, right? But there was also a time where there was a contract that needed to be signed. We had a couple of days to do it, and everything was done. But then the online portal to sign it, somebody shut it down. And it was evident to me that it was most likely on purpose, given the amount of sabotage I had with these people in this relationship, on this contract I was working. So um, during some time off, I had to fly to sign the contract. It was extremely inconvenient. It kind of hurt my feelings that happened, and I had to buy a plane ticket and had to fly out just to do something simple as sign a contract for a new vendor. But you know what? And in that instance, I told myself I was trying to justify, and that's what we'll do. You try to justify things. I was telling myself it's it, it's he was holding me back. I had to physically get up and get on the plane and go. And I was finding all these reasons to get around the sea lion and the tuna, or the is it the enemy or the enemy? And the truth is I had to go back and humble myself and say, they didn't restrain me, they didn't hold me down. It was a complete choice that I made. Yes, I had to get on the plane, but I still had divine selection. I still had the ability to make my choices. So what did I after I accepted that hard truth of it's the inner me. If I don't have a good experience, it's the inner me. So when I did that, the universe, again, the message said, well, you have the choice then to make this right. You have the choice to make the best of this situation, was the message was sending out to the universe of what was coming back to me after saying that. And so I told myself, I'm going to have a good trip. It's going to be easy. I'm going to find another flight back soon, and I'm going to have literally no stress. And for the first time in that lengthy, kind of catatonic relationship, working relationship with these people, it was exactly what I said. It was an easy trip. I actually enjoyed myself. I got some really good food, and I got to connect with people, and actually made a business deal while I was on it. So trusting the universe sends out the message that it may seem crazy, but I have short sight, and I know that you're working out for me for my better, and it'll always work out. And so that's what the universe did. But it happens whenever you check yourself. So the next time you're in a weird situation and you ask yourself, is it me or am I tripping? Go back to that sea line, how they're blowing bubbles. Are they blowing bubbles? Can you go through, or you go in the other direction? Because unless that sea line actually stopped that tuna fish, it still had selection. So if someone's blowing bubbles, ask yourself if it's stopping you from moving forward to fulfilling your purpose or reach the manifestation that you have in your heart to bring it in your hand. You have to recognize that it is not the enemy. that is the enemy. And that gives you the power back from the universe to yourself in order to make it through it. Okay. So, but before we end, please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. But I want to do a Bat Boss exercise for you to help you kind of chill, help you find your zen, and all that good stuff. So, I want you to take a moment before we begin this exercise to really think about a bad boss you had or a bad situation where it's uncomfortable for you to admit that it's not the enemy, it's the enemy. And like I shared my story of sabotage, I had to get on the plane, I had to fly, but they didn't physically help hold me down. So it was the enemy. And then the universe was bringing me evidence to support that I was in control. And ultimately, I was in control. So think about that. And if you're blessed and you don't have a bad boss story, then think about a friend or something that you heard. So have that. All right. So now let's imagine you're reliving that situation, or you're in that situation that kind of triggers you, or that you have a hard time applying this analogy to. And most of the time people aren't putting their hands on you or physically restraining you. So I'm willing to bet that for most of you, it's a situation where, if you're honest with yourself, they didn't touch you. It's the inner me. It's the inner you. Think about that. Think about that instance when they did you wrong. Think about the instance when you were cheated, slighted, whatever, by your bad boss. And say to yourself, get used to this. It's an ego thing. It doesn't feel right, but it's a barrier that most people don't cross to get the results from the universe. We have to get past the ego to get to the universe. So tell yourself, in that situation, was it the inner me or the enemy? Was it the enemy or the inner me? And then you go down your checklist. Did they put their hands on you? No. Okay. Did they physically hold you down? No. Okay. Then it's the inner me. In that situation, it was the inner me, which means they were blowing bubbles and I was moving out of alignment. And so just imagine yourself in that situation, choosing better, whatever that looks like. There is no right or wrong, but choosing better. You're choosing better in that situation with your bad boss. Okay. So for me, again, it was using positive reframing. And it was saying, it's a good thing I'm taking this trip. I'm going to make some great connections. I'm going to eat some good food. I'm going to get a business deal. And it all happened. So think about that. And just imagine yourself literally walking through that bad boss's body as if you're a spirit, and just walk past it, because that represents the bubbles, and move past it and think about what you're supposed to be doing. Think about the things that you do want and continue to move forward, because there's a lot of distractions. And this is a really good focusing tool and a good message to the universe to bring those things to you. So that's what I have for today's video on, is it me or is it the inner me? So I appreciate you, and I look forward to seeing you in our next video. And I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'm looking forward to see you soon. Bye-bye.